Okay, boom. Today we are going to be breaking down drill 808s and all the tips and tricks and basically anything that I know about drill 808s. But before we get into today's video, let's talk about today's giveaway. Today's giveaway is actually the last giveaway from XLNAUDIO. So this is your last chance to win that giveaway of a free copy of Addictive Keys. To enter this giveaway, all you have to do is like and comment on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and tomorrow you could get yourself a free copy of Addictive Keys. XLNAUDIO linked in the description. Shout out to them for sponsoring this series. Alright, let's get into some drill 808s. Alright, so really, before making UK drill, the first thing you should really ask yourself, do I really have sufficient drum sounds that are actually capable of making UK drill? Because there's literally no point in trying to make drill with a trap kit that you found on Reddit from some guy called 808 Slide God 4000. Sound selection is literally so important, especially when it comes to UK drill. I know sound selection is important in everything, but especially in UK drill, because a lot of people come from trap, use the same trap sounds in drill, and it doesn't sound good. If you're looking for drill kits, link in the description to all my drum kits. Alright, step one of anything, we're going to start from the basics. Always EQ your melody of all low end. So I normally like to bring it to 200 hertz. Normally anything under 200 hertz just gets cut out. That goes for literally everything apart from my kick and my 808. Alright, we have our infamous Empire 808. I haven't put it to a mixer track, so this is unmixed. I will mix it later on, but we're just going to be using the raw 808 right now. Obviously, when you're using drill 808, you want to put your envelope like this. Alright, so we are using a loop in this video. Shout out Radiant Beats. He's labeled it, as all loop makers should. He's labeled it and he's told us it's D minor. So for me, I normally check the scale of a beat. Not everyone does this. I know a lot of producers don't work with scales and stuff. They just use their ears and they use whatever. They don't care about scales. But I'm just showing you how I work with my 808s. Normally, I like to work in scales. A lot of people ask me as well, if you don't know the key of a loop or something, if you don't know the key of a sample. Literally, I use a website called TuneBat. All you literally do is drag and drop your sample in here. It just tells you straight away. So look, it tells me it's D minor. But regardless of that, we are in D minor. So I'm going to come in here. I'm literally going to select D minor. And I'm going to see if the 808 on its own is going to be playing on the root note. Alright, that sounds pretty good to me. But if we just push it up an octave, you can probably get a better listen. Okay, so if you are like a beginner to UK drill, I would suggest that you literally just lay out your 808s just like this. So you have your 808s on the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7. Because it just gives it that little bit of structure. And if you can go crazy on like hats, percussion, and shit in the background, and even if you're just using basic 808s, it's still going to be harder than if you just try unnecessary notes that are out of key. You know what I'm saying? If you're not comfortable with going with crazy 808s, don't go with crazy 8s. Keep it simple. Simplicity is key. Okay, next I want to talk about like fifths and sevenths. Shit, how do I even describe what I'm trying to say, man? I'm not good with trying to describe what I do. I just know what I do, but I can't describe it. You know what I'm saying? So you can work with fifths and sevenths of a scale. So if you put something up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is technically like the 5th or some shit, man. I don't really know. Sometimes this note can also be played. Alright, that isn't actually sounding too great. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's going to be A. If you put that up an octave, then that becomes a 7th as well, because that's up top. Now, that's what I believe. I'm not actually 100% sure. Sometimes when you're working with samples and stuff, the root note won't actually always be like on the D. Like technically this could be like a G to start with. That's something that you're struggling with. You can't see where the note that you need to play is. This is something that I do all the time. You want to come into your loop sample, you want to right click on it, edit an audio editor. You want to come into tools and you want to click convert to score and dump to piano roll. Edison has dumped all of the pitch regions that's found in Edison into the piano roll. This 8, I'm going to copy it here. I'm going to paste it into the sampler, delete it from here, and you can keep it in the sampler. So now you can see these are the pitch regions that Edison has detected. We can see down the bottom that there is a bit of a bass line, and the bass line is on the root note of D. So normally that kind of does give you an indication that the bass is going to be somewhere around the root note at D. But obviously that vocal is still hitting up at A, which could probably be played at A as well, because A is also the 5th of D. To me, I don't really like going below any low notes apart from A sharp. I feel like A sharp is the lowest note that I want to go to on an 808. Sometimes you also want to look out for your snare when you're building your 808. As your snare hits, your 808 stops. Now, this isn't always, I'm not saying like every single 808 needs to stop by a snare. And the rhythm that you can form between your 808s, your kicks, and your snares, just those 3 things alone. If you can get a good enough bounce between them 3s, then you're going to have a good swing of your beat. Alright, where do I even go next? Where do I go next? Alright, let's talk like slide patterns. I think the most basic slide pattern of a drill beat, 4 slides from whatever note you're on. So we're on D right now. The next 2 notes will be, this is again why I work with scales, because you can see in the scales, 2 notes beside each other. For instance, A sharp and A. Normally, notes that are beside each other in a a scale. Sounds somewhat good as slides. Not always, sometimes. And then you just want to pick another note in the scale. Alright, this sounds absolutely fucking horrible because I have absolutely no mix on the 808. I haven't like tried to adjust the slides. So here's what I want to talk about when you're placing down your slides as well. You don't normally want to have your slides directly on top of your 808. I would normally like to move to maybe 1, sometimes even 2 steps, and drag the slide over 1 as well. For reference, I'm in a quarter step right now. And something that I also like to do is of your bass notes, I also like to bring the velocities on them to 0 or somewhat close to 0. Look at the slight difference. It's still not mixed, so it's probably not going to sound great. Alright, to me it sounds a little bit cleaner than... And even I see some people that like push their slide root note down like an octave and then put the velocity at like half. There's a technique that I like to do with slide notes that are beside each other in the scale. So F and E are beside each other in the scale, and the next two that are beside each other is A sharp and A. Now, obviously, these top notes don't really sound great. Also, another type of slide that people seem to forget is slides that go upwards as well. I normally like to put the velocity again on 0 on this. Okay, I actually honestly can't go on anymore unless I mix this a slight. First thing I always put on all my 808s, Ferric TDS. Once you open up Ferric TDS, all you want to do is turn dynamics up fully. You want to turn saturation up fully. This is a free plugin. Everyone get it. Everyone go put it on your 808s. It just makes them sound so much better, even if you just listen to it now. Okay, the second thing I would always add is an EQ. So I'm going to play this and EQ it. It depends on the 808 you use. Obviously, EQs are literally dependent on every single 808 you use. EQs aren't going to fit every single 808. There isn't really much high end. With some other 808s that have a lot of distortion, I like to cut out the highs to maybe like the high mids. I would normally boost the low mids somewhere around here. Somewhere around 180, I would turn them down as well. Just slightly. I know some people that also like to open up a new EQ and slide over to this and cut out somewhere like 30 hertz, I think it is. But yeah, don't be afraid to experiment with EQs. Next, we're going to come into A1 stereo control. Once you open A1 stereo control, you want to click safe bass. Everything this frequency and below will be in mono. So normally I like to put it like at 90. So somewhere between 90 and 120, depending on the 808. And then also, then you come down to your stereo width, literally how wide the 808 goes. So if you go 200%, at most, I'd probably normally go to like 120. Probably just hit it around 110. Also even like 115. And then last but not least, we're going to add a limiter onto the 808. All we're going to do is literally, all we're touching right now is just the ceiling. We're just going to bring down the green line to where it touches at the top. Alright, so I've just put in some slides, and as you can see on the limiter, the slides do go higher than the actual normal 808. So if we bring the ceiling down just to where the normal 808 plays, it's getting rid of all the noise on top. Also, another pattern that you might see in drill 808s is normally like this tree. I feel like they're kind of like low-key like the main points of drill 808s. I mean, when you really want to start getting techie with 808s, you can start doing patterns like this. This is from the Raxon tutorial that I did at the very start of December. I made a flipping W with 808. Don't want to start diving into shit like this when you can't just get the basics right. Make sure you can do those basic things first and then start to get better and start to advance. And then when you really want to dive deeper into the mix, you can start adding stuff like fruity flanges or flangus. I can't really remember. Because I'm Irish, I say things different. Chorus, reverb onto 808s, all these different things. It's brazy, I can't even lie. I think that's all the advice that I have. If anyone has any questions, do leave it in the comments. I'll respond to all comments. So if you're wondering something about UK Drill 808s, put them in the comments. I will reply. If I have forgotten something, yeah, make sure you comment below as well if I've missed anything. I hope that there's something from this video you could have taken. But yeah, man, if you haven't already, I would appreciate it if you can like and comment on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I'll be back tomorrow. Run me up on Instagram and Twitch because they're the only two things I care about. I'm out. Good luck. See you later.